Hello everybody, how's it going? I'm Vespillo, and I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I know I'm doing pretty good today. I kind of had the thought, a couple days ago, of like, hey, I kind of have this game philosophy that I've used for a while that helps me, I think, win more games in the long run. And it's something that I've been working on for a number of years. That is just sort of the way I approach any kind of multiplayer or competitive game. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know on my last video I was like, I'm done with this Titanfall game. I'm done. This is annoying. No more for me. But I think that this was powerful enough that when I had that thought, I was like, oh man, I can't do it playing Black Ops. It just wouldn't make sense. I had to do it with some Titanfall gameplay because obviously that is where I use it the most these days. Okay, that's a thing that just happened. That's a thing that exists in this universe. Jesus Christ. So anyway, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks is a while. That's a while. That's a time period. So technically, I was right. I was done for a while. But Jesus. Anyway, I really thought this was important to talk about and do it with some Titanfall. Oh my God. Oh, Smart Pistol stole my kill. Probably didn't steal my kill. I wasn't going to get that kill. No way, no how. But anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is essentially using your frustration when it comes up, or recognizing your frustration when it's happening or while it's happening, so that you can essentially do something about it. And what I've always tried to do since many years ago, when I essentially realized that it was a problem to when you're playing some kind of competitive game, you get frustrated, things happen, the game doesn't go your way, and that, if you respond negatively to that, it can make you play worse. And so it's important to learn how to essentially maintain composure. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, is maintaining composure in the face of either being on a bad team or playing a bad pug, or just being in a competitive setting where you might be losing a game and you got to figure out how to win. And you can do it. You just have to sort of treat it like a puzzle that needs to be solved. And that's essentially what it is. It's just like there's a way to go about it that you can ask yourself some questions like, do they have too much mid control? Do they have too many Titans up? Is it one player that's stuck in this one spot and we can't unlodge him and he's slaying out our whole team? These kind of ways to analyze the situation and figure out where you're at within the game will help you win games in the long run. Because if you can ask yourself and answer these questions, with either regularity or easily, or just with what's already going on in the game, well, you're more than halfway there, essentially. You're essentially in a place where, god damn, I thought that guy was going to punch the balls out of me. Where did he go? Jesus. Wait, did he throw 3 arc grenades at me, or was there another? I think there was another pilot there. Is he trying to get back into this Titan? I think he is. It's alright, he's going to come back to a doomed old Titan, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I knew I couldn't get both those guys, so I at least wanted to take out the one. So, anyway, like I was saying, a lot of people I noticed would say in a competitive setting that you can't lose your cool, you can't get angry, you can't get mad or upset, because then you're going to play worse, you're not going to be able to think or focus. And essentially I thought that was unrealistic. I thought that doesn't work. That's not practical. You can't just say you're not going to get mad, because we're all competitive players, or I'd assume most of us are largely competitive players, or we want to be competitive players. And that essentially means that you care. That means that you want to get to a point where, you're better than the other team. And so to just say, oh, well, I'm not ever going to get mad, well, the road to any kind of victory can get frustrating. It's going to have ups and downs. You're going to get upset. And it's just not realistic to be like, oh, well, just have a cool head all the time and never get angry. That doesn't happen. It's unrealistic. So essentially, my thought was, well, if I'm going to get mad, I might as well get to a place where I'm able to sort of refocus myself, or use that energy of anger in a more positive way that will direct me in a way that's going to help me win the game. And that's kind of what I started doing, as I started asking myself certain questions about the game state, or trying to read the game state better so that I could get to a place where I could turn the game around. And this is very much, because I'm a big advocate of personal responsibility. You have to take your, responsibility where you're either at fault, or even if you're not at fault, that's fine. But most of the time, I would say generally, in a lot more situations than not, you have to, you could be doing something better. You personally could be playing in a way that's better, that will help your team win the game. So that's kind of what I decided to do, is I'm just going to take responsibility for it, and I'm going to try to play better. And that helps me kind of figure out what questions to ask. That means I have to figure out, is it because they've got too much mid control? Is it because there's one player on their team that's just doing so well that he's crushing the rest of us? What exactly is it that's going on that's causing this loss? So eventually you start to figure out what those are. Jesus. Also, threat assessment. Always learn threat assessment. Which target is the one that's going to kill you the fastest? Kill that target first, and then get back to secondary and tertiary targets. So anyway, you got to learn to ask yourself, like, what is it that's causing us to lose the game? Do we not have mid control? Do we not have proper defense? There's a lot of times where, if you watch back on some of my competitive games, where they'll be getting a lot of flagpoles, and I'm like, hey guys, what's going on with defense? Do you need help? Do you need somebody to fall back? Like what's the deal? And a lot of times you'll hear my teammates say, well, I don't know, they're just pulling a lot. Like, it's because those people may not be, analyzing the game properly, or their awareness may not be where it should be. So that guy, was he looking at me? Was he just deciding I could have the kill? I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what happened there. So anyway, I just want you guys to kind of think about that more, and to think, okay, what is it that I personally can be doing to get this team in a place where we can win the game? And if you think of it in those terms, rather than just, oh, my team sucks, there's nothing I can do, these guys just suck, I need to wait until the next game when I want a better team, like, that's never the answer. Or that never should be the answer. It should always be, what can I do to get the game to a better place where we can make a difference and start winning? So hopefully that made some sense. I don't know if it was coherent enough, but it was just an idea I had that I wanted to continue with the, some of my old live comms that I did there when I was doing all the, offense, defense, mid roles. When I was going over the various roles, I thought this would be a good way to kind of tie everything together and just kind of one-up it. And just, it's a good way to think about when you're playing a multiplayer game and you're getting frustrated, or you feel like blaming someone else. Just take the responsibility and try to start solving problems. And you just solve your problems one at a time. And eventually, if you just keep solving problems one at a time, you'll get that win. or at least you'll learn something. Even if you get the loss, you'll learn something, and you'll learn something from that failure, and you'll get better. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and enjoy.